foodie.
Hey, welcome to the Not a Foodie Show. I am Tom, and with me as always is...
It's Mike Moranti, Mikey Pomodoro. How you doing?
Chicken Parm Poppy. I can't, that's a tongue twister, sorry.
Chicken
Parm
Poppy.
Parpy.
Wow, that was bad. A lot of people call me Mickey. Like a lot of people call me, not it happened like once. I was like, oh, that's weird. No one's going to do that. And it happens like a lot. No one's ever in my life called me Mickey. And Mickey is like a nickname for Michael.
But it's very Irish, and you are not Irish.
And
you are a lot of things. Well, anyway, welcome to the Not a Foodie Show. We're going to talk.
And we're back.
Yes. Mikey Pomodoro. How are you, dude?
I'm fucking tired. I just got back from West Palm Beach, not a vacation. Helped my mom clear out her condo. Just filled up contractor bags full of shit for a long weekend. But I ate really well. West Palm Beach, maybe the most underrated food city in America.
No way.
Truly.
No way.
Bro,
I mean, it's good.
Bro,
it's good.
You have to search for things. You have to spend some time on Google and cross-reference it with Yelp and like put a little time to find the spots. But when you find these spots, bro, we were like blown away with how good some of this food was.
What is the best bite you had? I don't want to go into West Palm and how horrible it is.
No.
But, sorry, Florida people. But
Nola Oysters. It was around the corner from our condo. And it's kind of just like oysters, like baked clams, but oysters.
Broiled oysters, yeah.
I got an entree. We got a couple of appetizers, and then I got a red snapper entree, which was good. But I wasn't that hungry, and I wish that I just had ordered my own appetizer of the Nola oysters for my entree.
Were they just like garlic and butter oysters? Like just broiled garlic and butter oysters?
Breadcrumbs, parsley.
Oh, breadcrumbs too.
Yeah, yeah, like baked clams. We went to the spot Olio Olio, and they are going to take over the South in probably 5 years. They are Mikey Pomodoro. Mikey Pomodoro is if Shake Shack was Italian. These guys are if Olive Garden was good. They have probably like 8 different shapes of pasta, and they make them all fresh. And then they do like chicken, veal, shrimp, eggplant. You can get it parm, marsala, saltimbocca, whatever. And you get your entree, you get your side of pasta, a little garlic bread, a little salad. Phenomenal. Great wine list. $50 bottles of wine to $150 bottles of wine. Heavy hitters. Like, really just
Are they a chain, though? Or are they just
They are a chain, as in they have 2 with a 3rd opening. And they're planning on... The way I learned this, the way it works down there is like... 15-minute drive is like another town or whatever. So you'll drive 15 minutes, but there are places that will have one location in like every 15 minutes. So West Palm Beach, great food city.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that, but okay. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm sorry you're tired. I was also tired, but my wife made a giant... We're recording in the morning, which we don't usually do, or we hadn't usually done in a while. But my wife made a gigantic cold brew pot last night before bed. So, like, the forethought of being able to have that is something that, like, I am so grateful that my wife remembers to do this every night or when we're both going to be working from home. So I've got my giant... iced cold brew right now, and I am vibrating.
You have the little Japanese cold brew pot?
No, I've got a big French
in?
press. I got a big French press, and it's a French press that is designed for cold brew. We've got a smaller one that we use when it's just a couple of us, and then we've got a big one when we've got guests,
or when you're just both working from home.
Exactly. But speaking of coffee, I don't know if it's just me. I have been seeing so much coffee content come through the feed over the past month or so. And I wanted to talk about the sort of like the elevation of coffee culture and the elevation of coffee into an ingredient into cocktails. And I feel like this has been something that has come and gone like over and over again.
I have a lot to talk about the espresso martini. I have words to say.
That's it. Like, I mean, so I'm Gen X. I was raised in like the first coffee revolution when everybody just hung out in coffee shops and coffee shops started popping.
Oh, they're opening a Starbucks? We have to go.
Yeah, we got exactly. Like the first Starbucks in New York, I was like, I gotta go, and then I was like, oh, this isn't as good as the little local coffee shop. But I feel like I've been through the coffee wars. I've seen it. I'm a grizzled old veteran. But this is really interesting because just over the past month, I saw an article about the espresso martini. I saw an article about Food and Wine wrote an article calling the espresso tonic the drink of the summer of 2023.
Every time someone said the drink of the summer, besides an Aperol Spritz, they've always been wrong. Ask me how many Dirty Shirleys I've ever had. Fucking zero. I'm an adult.
I
hate Dirty Shirleys on a
last
human
year.
level. That was last year.
The Negroni Spagliato was the drink of the summer. Everyone was drinking that. Like that was something
because of
that
a
people.
TikTok.
That's how these things start.
No,
that was
a TikTok video, and people are like, "Oh, what is that? Let me order one." Then it just blew up. But people were writing articles. The Dirty Shirley is the drink of the summer.
Yes,
because that's what I need is a Sprite grenadine vodka tummy ache.
I have never had a Dirty Shirley. I don't think
because you're an adult.
Spagliato. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I'd rather just have
the
espresso
Spritz. Tonic. Have you had an espresso tonic? It's tonic water.
Is it
and
alcohol?
espresso.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
It's not. It's actually not gross. I've had it. I had it at one of the fancy food shows that we went to a while back. It was invented in some Nordic country. I think it was Sweden. And it's just sort of a non-alcoholic cocktail. It's a different way to have your coffee.
Are they selling them as like a can? Or
No,
is it
no. It's like you have to go and make it at your baristas are doing it. And that leads me to another article that I came across, which is about how coffee shops are basically the new bars. Or not the new bars, but the line between a coffee shop and like a bespoke cocktail lounge is sort of becoming blurry, where they're both using the same techniques. And I was in Detroit over the winter, and I was at a coffee shop in Detroit that you walked in and you're like, this could be a bar or this could be a coffee shop. And they were doing some crazy things with coffee cocktails, and they were doing some crazy things just with coffee in general, just, making coffee tonics and things like that. So then there's that. And then I came across another article that talks about the espresso martini.
No. I love the espresso martini.
Again, grizzled Gen Xer. In the early 2000s, the espresso martini was sort of like all over the place, and it was this like sweetened version. And this is when if you put anything in a martini glass, they called it a martini.
When you make an espresso martini, in New York, your liquor rep will always be like, "Listen, I'm in this stupid contest. Can you buy this like package of like 4 bottles of vodka so I can like win?" And you say, yeah, of course, whatever, because you give me free shit sometimes. So then you have like a weird bottle of like cinnamon roll vodka or something. And that's what the espresso martini is best for, is because normally you in a classic espresso martini recipe, you use vanilla vodka. When you have that weird cinnamon bun vodka or chocolate cake vodka or whatever weird what's the name of that brand? Burnett's. Just some weird like Burnett's college sweet vodka. That's what you use in the espresso martini.
Gross. Like sorry to interrupt, but I feel like if I'm going to have an espresso martini, I like espresso, I guess, like vodka. I don't know. I mean, vodka is sort of inoffensive and flavorless, but so like I can understand adding things to it. I'm all for boozy coffee cocktails. I just can't stand when they're way too sweet, and that's my issue.
At Feroce, which is where I worked right before COVID, shout out to the espresso martini for surviving COVID, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Because that's a cocktail that like we would get. One person orders it and everyone at the table orders it. So it doesn't matter if it's a 4-person table or a 20-person table. And whenever I think of espresso martini, I just think of my friend Grant, who was the bartender, who he would get 20 espresso martinis, and Grant makes the best espresso martini in the city. And then he would get 20 more espresso martinis. I can't imagine getting 2 espresso martinis, but I do like one.
Why can't you imagine? Is it just because it's too sweet?
It's sweet and it's coffee. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't need that much in my body.
So one of the things that was blowing up on Instagram this week was the trend of adding a little bit of shaved Parmigiano Reggiano to the top of an espresso martini. Wait, so I knew it. I purposely didn't say this in the pre-call because I wanted to see what what your reaction would be.
If I ordered an espresso martini and then I know they're like, if they graded it tableside, in my head they're bringing out the fucking Olive Garden,
having a Caesar salad,
the hand crank one that was hilarious. But if you put some real, like, Parmigiano Reggiano is an incredible ingredient. Little salt, little rich, like, sure, I'm not against it. I don't hate that. It's funny baseline. It is just a funny thought to do. Someone went.
I mean, I have to imagine that, like, you can't have a sweet, like one of those overly sweet with chocolate drizzle sort of espresso martinis if you're going to put some Parmigiano Reggiano in it. But like,
no, but if you're doing a vanilla, people put honey.
I don't know.
People have honey in Parmigiano Reggiano. That's a thing. So if you're doing just like a vanilla vodka, especially if it's a good vodka, yeah, I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it.
I haven't tried it. I mean, I might have to try it now.
Yeah, where are they doing
this? But some Instagram guy, a bar consultant at the Bitter Gringo, just this guy, Jonathan David Stanyard, he put it on his account. All of a sudden it blew up, and most people that tried it are like, you know what? It's pretty good. And what they are saying is that it's not the sweetness that plays off of the Parmesan, but the bitterness of the coffee with the umami of the Parmesan.
How are they doing the Parmesan? What texture
grated,
is it?
like microplaned, but just a little bit. It's not like you're making a fucking carbonara.
No. It's
just a little bit on
float.
top.
A little Parmesan float.
Some people are like, fuck no, I'm never going to do this. That's disgusting. But most people are like, you know what? It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
and then,
look, dairy and coffee
the article
go together.
That I read,
it makes sense to me.
That's what I was going to say. The article that I read was like, well, coffee and cheese go together in a lot of, in Mexican cultures. And that's what sort of led him to try this out. And coffee and cheese, chocolate and cheese, all of those flavors go together. It sounds like one of those weird combinations. Like, I mean, for a while, do you remember the weird combination people were doing with it was a TikTok trend, I think. It was coffee and orange juice, a shot of orange juice in their coffee.
No, it's gross. Look, if someone does something and I think and I deem it gross, that's it. I don't like. I'll give some.
You're not going to try
something,
even if someone says it's. Yeah.
No, if I deem it gross, it's gross. What do I need to have an orange juice in a coffee? Like, that's just called diner breakfast.
I don't know if you were like this in college or if this was just a pure like late 90s thing, but like coming up with like shots that you take a bunch of things together and then all of a sudden it tastes like Dr. Pepper or cream soda or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought so. That was
thing.
like I mean, that was me when I was 20 years old or 19 years old going to a bar and be like, "Oh, does someone want the birthday cake shot or
in
whatever?"
high school. I thought it was super cool. I was like, oh, that's what college is like? And then you go to college and you're like, oh, no, we're just slamming shots and drinking beer and slapping the bag.
We were drinking Natty Ice. The ice era of beers was like Bud Ice, Natty Ice. Everyone had an ice. Molson Ice. I went to school up on the Canadian border, so like lots of Molson. Oh, Molson Triple X was what we would do. They couldn't sell it in the U.S., so whenever like anyone would go over the border, we'd have them bring back like 10 cases of Molson Triple X because it was higher in alcohol. It tasted like absolute shit, but it was higher in alcohol content, and it got you.
Well,
what
they
quick.
They freeze the beer, right, to get it like higher in alcohol or something.
I don't even know. Who knows? Yeah. It's probably all marketing. Like, anyway, should we talk about our guest? Or should we conclude the coffee conversation? I think the coffee conversation has concluded itself.
Yeah. No, I have nothing left to say. I started drinking black coffee to stop like having cravings for sweets so bad.
Dude, you know what my best method for cutting out the cravings is whenever I would crave something, when I was craving sweets or anything, like if I was craving a snack and I wanted to stop snacking, I would just drop and do like 10 push-ups as soon as I got the crave, I would just drop and do 10 push-ups, and that stopped it really quickly. That's like
that's great.
The best
that's
way.
Fire. Yeah,
you could kick heroin by doing that. I mean, I've never been on heroin. Well, I don't know.
That's not battle tested. But
I've solved our horrible opioid crisis.
Just do push-ups.
Just do push-ups. Yes.
Just okay, Nancy Reagan. Just
now
do push-ups.
Now I sound like Joe Rogan.
Oh no, Joe Rogan would be like, just smoke kratom. Like,
all right.
Okay.
This has gone off the rails. We should talk about our guest.
Yes.
So, dude, set him up.
Our guest today is Chef Adam Lajara. Adam and I have known each other since we were 18. We took menu costing together freshman year of college at SUNY Delhi. He is now Julius Randle's private chef. Julius,
I was gonna say, you're burying the lead there.
Yeah. Julius shouts him out post game. We talk.
Julius
about
Randle, New York Knick, All-Star.
MVP, All-Star, not
MVP.
Yeah.
Yes. The conversation was awesome. We talked about, first of all, who he is, where he grew up, and what inspired him with food. Then we talked about the pressures of being part of Julius's team. Like,
he is
how he's got to just
so
elevate himself.
Integral to Julius Randle.
Yeah.
A big guy that is like hurt sometimes. He's in charge of what Julius is putting into his body.
You're a personal chef. You're catering to the tastes of Julius and Julius's wife and family. And he's got 2 small kids. And then there's that added extra of having to make sure that you're hitting numbers as far as proteins and what aminos are going into your bodies, and all the macros. And it was just a great conversation. What I got from him is just how lucky and blessed he feels to be doing this, and the pressure that he puts on himself.
And that's who Adam is.
Make it the best he can.
He's been like that since we were like 18, and he was talking about getting his first Manhattan internship. That's just who he is. He's just a salt of the earth, as good as they come kind of guy. He's a good all around dude who deserves everything that's coming his way.
Well, I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as we enjoyed recording it. So here he is, Chef Adam Lajara.
Foodie.
And we're back. It's Mike Moranti, Tom Miale, and we're getting to sit down with a good friend of mine, Adam Lajara. He is Julius Randle's personal chef. He's a private chef. I'm lucky enough that we went to college together for freshman year, so we're in our early 30s and have known each other since we were 18. So, Adam, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Tom. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Man.
Well,
Yeah, we appreciate you being here. This is awesome. In our new season, early on in our new season, man, we're so psyched to start talking to people again. And I can't think of a better person. Like, good get, Mikey. Good get, Pomodoro.
Yeah, it was so easy too. It was maybe the easiest one ever.
Adam, man, so. We talked a little bit about who you are, but why don't you give us your path? How did you start doing what you're doing, cooking for athletes, and just how did you end up where you are?
Chef?
Yeah,
man. To be honest, I never even thought I'll be where I'm at right now today. To say that at the least, it was really just like you said. We was talking previously, just curiosity. My curiosity helped me put in my my 10,000 hours of work and passion, and that's how I got where I'm at. The love. As a kid, going into the kitchen with my grandma, my grandparents cooking, asking them 1,000 questions. They probably wanted me in the kitchen because they just wanted to make a meal, getting frustrated at me. But that grew and built, and that's where I'm at right now,
Oh, man. I love that. In my family, there's my grandfather always cooked. The men in my family were always in the kitchen, which was crazy. I mean, the women in my family cooked too, but the men in my family cooked a lot, and I feel like that grandpa in the kitchen was one of my biggest influences, and it sparked my curiosity for food. So I'm feeling you there.
Yeah.
That's great. Adam, what culture are you, man? What kind of food did you grow up eating?
My culture, my background is Dominican, but I was born in New York.
Hmm.
I grew up eating a lot of Hispanic Creole food, a lot of stews, a lot of root veg, salads, and also a lot of seafood because where my family comes from, they come from the coast of Dominican Republic, so they big on the seafood. I was eating
Nice.
crab and octopus at an early age. I remember picking through it, breaking through all the crab legs when I was like 5, and just taking out all the meat out and just
You were eating
divine
good
myself.
for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, man. I was blessed. I was blessed. I have to say,
Is that
the
still
creme de la creme.
like now? Is that like do you gravitate towards seafood? Is that like comfort food for you?
Yeah, that's definitely comfort food. I do gravitate to seafood. I love cooking seafood, and especially in the industry when I learning different cuisines, picking up and seeing what different cultures do to different seafoods. It's been inspirational, but it's something I definitely gravitate to seafood, and I try to keep everything that I do in the kitchen that has a part of me and my background in my food. So
It's
New
very
York,
important.
yeah, very important. New York is such a diverse place, and working around all New York City, you pick up so much, you pick so much brains and ideas and different cuisines. So I put that in my plate, but I also try to stay true to myself, using the integrity and the ingredients. I make sure that I use where my nationality in my food as well.
So,
Yeah.
when's the last time that you cooked on a line, and how did you go into the personal private chef route?
The last time, that's a great question. The last time I cooked in the line was about post COVID, I'm gonna say, like a real professional kitchen line post COVID. Got furloughed. Um, then I started at
You want to
like
say what restaurant?
I was actually working. To be honest, I was at a bad mind space. I was working at a union spot called
Oh,
Novotel, and there's different levels. Like people in the kitchen would know there's different levels. You got your mom and pop spots, you got your corporate. That's pretty much where I was at. It was like a end place for a lot of people. It was a lot of guys that like a lot of cooks. They were like 65, 70. Did some bad situations. They got very bitter, and it was just a huge lesson for me to get to that point. To become a bitter person, a bitter cook, and then it was a blessing in disguise. I was miserable at the location. Was there for 2 years, but I learned a lot. And from
you
there,
learn a lot in corporate. People
yeah,
like to shit on corporate for like obvious reasons, but there's a reason why they're successful. You learn
it is.
a lot.
But you also learn from
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
horrible experiences. I mean, I've learned more
Yo,
from shitty jobs and the bitterness, right? Like when you love what you do and then all of a sudden you're in an environment where it's sucking that love out of it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it was.
it's time for a
It's
change, right?
misery.
Yeah,
It
it
is. It
really
is.
is.
It was just sad to see. Like they were such sweet people, but they were just so bitter, and they didn't like when like you go out and about to do extra work. It was just the whole culture in there was not healthy at all. It's a safety net for sure. I understand why people do it. Has a lot of benefits, but at the same time, it doesn't feed the passion. It doesn't feed the fuel. That you if you are a true person that loves the industry, that wants to grow as an individual and loves to cook, I'd say maybe try it out. Everybody has the.
I was gonna say, how did you go from that to being Julius Randle's personal
Julius Randle.
chef? Yeah, like how
Well,
did that happen?
at the time, I was at the union shop. I was working like 2 or 4, like 2 or 3 gigs at the side. So I was working with all these. I was networking because I was just at a bad headspace. Before previous to union, I was working at a bunch of mom and pops and like high end restaurants. But I started networking in on Instagram. Met a lot of like people that I saw that was inspirational. They were doing these chef's tables. They were just independent and they were doing things that I would like to do. So I reached out. And I was like, hey, I don't mind working for free. I have my 9 to 5, my bread and butter, but I'll do that on the side. Sacrifice my time just to learn how to become like the private route, how just to seek a lane, how to like start approaching to become an independent person, just looking for mentors or whatnot. So that's how it happened. I stumbled upon this great person named Chef Kelvin. He's one of my mentors. He's a big personal chef. He's a celebrity chef. He's
he's
been in.
A-Rod chef.
Well, that A-Rod chef is actually Chef Trill. That's the first person I stumbled into actually. I stumbled into Chef Trill, and he was the chef for J Lo and A Rod. And then with him, we was like there was just a lot of parties and events. I end up networking. I end up meeting Chef Kelvin. and I was working a lot of private events, doing like these top hedge clients, a lot of celebrity clients, and from there, like I was working with them for like 2 years. Got furloughed. I was with them for like a year and a half doing private events, and then the agents for Julius Randle contacted Chef Kelvin, and they were looking for a personal chef. I volunteered and I went there, did a 5 course menu for him, his wife, the kids, and I
His
got the
son's so
job.
funny.
He's super funny. He's a comedian.
I was
He's
going to
a
ask you about the
joker.
kids, man. Those kids look awesome.
The kids are amazing. They're amazing. They're full of personality. They're young. I just can't imagine when they get older, but they are a ball. They make work fun.
Do you have to like cater down to their food, to their tastes? Like you got to make hot dogs in the corner for them, or like how's that?
Are you making
Are
you making like lobster mac and cheese for them? Are you just like taking like kids classics and elevating them?
Sometimes. You know, they're kids, so they're gonna eat like kids' food, like chicken tenders or whatnot. You gotta,
they want their dino nuggies, yeah.
Yeah, they want.
But are you making them? Are you like breading chicken tenders and panko?
Yeah.
Okay, word.
I'm doing all that. I'm doing.
Or are you like, it's the kids. I'm just gonna heat up some dino nuggies.
They to be honest, like the little one, like the newborn Jace, he eats insane. He eats everything. Such as Kaiden too. Kaiden eats everything as well, And they're too funny. They make work fun in there. They're always running around the kitchen, If I'm cooking something up, they're asking me for something, It's a good vibe.
Oh man, that's awesome. And you gotta love it. You gotta I could tell just by talking to you that like the joy that you get from, cooking for a family like that. But I guess so there's the challenges, right? Like you want to cook things that are delicious for them, but then there's the added like the nutrition and, jacking up the protein, making sure that you got, that you can fall into the routine that, athletes are in a routine, right? Like they eat a lot, then they take a nap or they do different, and then they maybe have a light snack or whatever. Like, so like marrying those two has got to be challenging. What's your typical day like? Like, do you,
on the off season, I am definitely breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In the off season, he's Julius is training at least 2 to 3 times. He has physical. He does a workout maybe at 6 in the morning, and then he goes shoot around. And he's doing something else, or he's doing like a mind or physical therapy or yoga. It's almost like 4 times he's going to gym. So I do breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the family, and for any guest that comes through. For game days, like on the regular season, I'm basically there sometimes for dinner, and then I do like pregame and dinner as well. And I do a lot of meal prepping.
Tom, some of the stuff he cooks, he'll throw on his IG story. I'm like, yo, is that for Julius? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's why he's dropping 50. There's some correlation. There's a tiny bit of correlation between him hiring Adam and getting MVP chance at the Garden. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like I'm feeling like Adam Sandler right now in Uncut Gems. I feel like it's like, I know I got the inside scoop. I'm going to go bet my life savings now on depending on what you are putting on your IG story, man. If that looks good, I'm betting on the Knicks.
Put your money on them. We're going to be coming for that chip. We're coming for that chip this year. But it's been a blessing. It's been a big insight, just to see sometimes, growing up, you see these famous, like let's say these famous or these known people, and just to get humanized, just to see, be with them at their presence, it's just to really see, like, just like the hard work they put in. Like he puts in work, like hard work, like all the time. And I know he's hard on himself, and he just wants to be better. He has the hungry to win.
Yeah, and I think what I appreciate about him is it's the physical side of it. The taking care of your body, but also the mental side of it. I mean, I know he's very big into the meditation and all of that, which is, you gotta be.
Definitely.
I saw this quote from him about playing with Kobe, and Kobe was like, listen, you have to always put the work in, always.
Yeah, you can't cheat.
And they just landed and they got to whatever city they're in, and they go straight to the gym and he's like, yeah, of course I did it because of Kobe said to. And then he was just there, same city and was at the same place for an AM workout. And the guy lets him in. He's like, man, The last player that asked me to open early was Kobe. It's the work ethic that he has. Like
that's it. Always show up. Always work hard.
He's locked in. He's locked in. You know, he wants to be. He's trying to like break those walls and keep just getting better and better. And if he dropped maybe like 40, 50, he wants to drop 60. You know, and he wants to win. You know, and he wants to. It's the tunnel vision he has. He's hungry, and that's inspiring to be around there. I mean, be around that kind of energy. Every day I have to go 100% in. Like I have to, you know, go in there and dog mode, just straight up do the best of the best that I can, make sure I did my part. So when he's ready, he has to do his part so his body could function right.
Yeah, man. That's like, and that's something to think about, right? Like it's that what you're giving him to put into his body is a small part of it affects what's going on with him,
exactly,
on the court and everything like that. Yeah. So you got to show up just as much as he does.
How does that work with the menu prepping? Are you trying to hit like macros for him? Stuff. Yeah, is there like a nutrition element to it, or is it just like? There's a nutrition
element for sure to it. I stay away from a lot. I do a lot of paleo cooking, so I stay a lot from like refined sugars and dairy. You know, there's also going to be those cheat days. You know, cheat days are a little different. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to. You know, you work so hard, you got to indulge once in a while. But it's basically I'm trying to hit the protein. I'm trying to hit the right carbs, not a lot of glycemic food, you know, and very clean. I dabble away from soy. I use a lot of like substitution, like coconut aminos. And...
Oh man, I did a Whole30 and it stopped me from drinking Diet Coke. I was hoping it would stop me from eating dessert. It didn't. But it put me, I still use soy sauce sometimes, but it put me onto coconut aminos.
Bro, same here, bro.
Like they are maybe the most underrated, like
super underrated. Like I never
condiment ever.
Exactly, I agree.
Listen, I'm gonna give you, Adam, this one's for free for Julius.
Okay, throw it on. I could use it, bro.
It's just air fried sweet potatoes with coconut aminos.
I'm gonna check that. Get the little
salt, pepper. You know, season it however, but just sweet potato, like just cut up, kind of like fries, air fried, coconut aminos.
I'm gonna try that out. I love it, bro. It's you're so right. It's underrated. Like when I tried the coconut aminos by itself, I took a teaspoon. I'm like, this is an umami bomb, and just like the viscosity of it, just to cook with it, it's perfect.
Oh man,
it's a perfect substitute.
I'm a huge proponent of Whole30. It's because you can just fucking eat as much as you want.
Yeah, it is. I've been reading about that.
You can just, like I said, it's called Whole30 because that's how many chickens you eat.
Well, so I want to hear about the cheat days, man. Like that's like obviously, you know, you talked about the high proteins and you know the different types of aminos, but what's a cheat day look like?
Is there something that like he has to do every cheat day?
I get scared to get complacent with him. So I push myself to do something, at least one new dish every day, because I'm afraid if I get stagnant, it'll make me feel horrible. Like I just want to just keep on like, because at the same point I'm his personal chef, I'm also like in a way showing him new things.
You're part of his team.
Yeah, it's part of his team. Yeah. So I'm just like showing him new things. He's like, wow, chef, what is it? So it's also like an educational part too. Like I got him eating avocados now. When I first met him, he wasn't eating avocados. There were certain things he wasn't eating, but now he's adapting to it, and his palate is insane now. Like the guy's deep diving sushi now. Nice. All types of things. Like, you know, even eating oysters. It's amazing. It's a blessing. Even the wife as well, the whole family as a whole. It's been a blessing just to bless them with my hands.
Oh man! Well, if Julius Randle wants oysters, I've got oysters for him, and I would be honored. I grow oysters actually. I got a plot. I got a little oyster farm.
We might have to get a bushel.
Yeah, man. I'd be honored.
Gotcha. I'm gonna let you know.
We can have them out to the house.
I know. Yeah, come out to my house on Long Island, man. We'll get some oysters together.
Take him to yeah, you can come on the boat to the oyster farm.
Well, that'd be amazing, though.
Imagine we did that.
That'd be amazing. That'd be something to tell him. He might, you know, you never know.
Well,
the possibilities are endless.
You're invited too. I mean, if Julius can't make it, you know, yeah, sorry.
I'll bring it. I'll mention it.
Yeah, right.
But a cheat day,
it's
so many things that he's a big. That's what I've been telling Mikey. I'm like, Mike, I gotta tell him about your spot. my apologies, Mike. I haven't been able to show love out there. I've been so busy, but he's big on Italian food. He went to Italy for the first time last year.
I could
He's
send him
going this
some
time.
chicken parm sliders.
Bro, that'd be amazing.
We'll put him at Uber.
That'd be amazing. I'll let
Tomorrow,
you know
whatever.
on cheat day.
Yeah.
I'm at, right now we're on playoff mode, but once the cheat day comes, I gotcha. He has a sweet tooth, so it's like desserts, breakfast, maybe a hunk of like French toast with like a maple brown butter, some apples caramelized in there. It's the how you call it? It's indulgence for sure. I'll tell you the cheat day. It could be like shrimp toast or Italian pasta heavy.
Wow, I thought I loved him before. Now I'm like, I mean, we got stuff in common.
He's a foodie.
I love it. Well, what about you? Like, what do you like to cook? Like, what's your favorite thing to cook?
On your
on my day off,
you probably don't want to cook, right?
Yeah, I probably don't want to cook, but I do. Like, if I get like sporadic moments of inspiration, I have a bunch of books I read, and I'm like, you know what? Let me test this out, and I'll go shop. But I'm big on Asian flavors. I worked at a lot of Southeast Asian, Malaysian, worked with a couple of Tibet restaurants, Japanese for a while, and
you worked at Tibetan restaurants?
Yeah, Malaysian, Tibet. Yeah, I met so much Tibet Malaysians.
What are the dumplings? Momos?
Momos, man. Those are like my cheat day food.
Yeah, momos are delicious. It's just it's like Asian food. I'm gonna do some chow mein, some lo mein noodles, throw a bunch of shrimp in there. I might be craving Italian. I might make some American Italian. I like my chicken marsala.
Oh yeah.
My linguine, my little some shrooms in there. Or I don't know. It depends. I'll be craving my grandma's food. I'm like, you know what? I want to make some like eggplant stew with some white rice and fried plantains.
I'm the same way.
I'm a hot mess when it comes to it.
I'm the same way. I cook pasta every Sunday, and I make fresh pasta just because I grew up Italian, and I grew up eating pasta on Sunday. But now I have to like make my own pasta and make it into a big project. And I got kids that always want to do that.
He has a cavatelli machine.
Oh man,
I need to get me one of those.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Pop, 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 pop. It's very
so
impressive.
great, and
So
it's
all
the
you
best.
Do is you make the dough and just put it in there, and it'll just do it itself.
You got to make the dough. You got to sort of roll it out into like a little cylinder, like a little snake, and then you just sort of feed it through and crank it. And it looks like old school Italian. And I used to do it by hand on the press, but after feeding like 6 to 8 people, your hand starts to cramp up from making cavatelli. I don't know how those old Italian ladies do it all day long.
That's what I want to say. I've been down to hit like those kitchens where they have the nonas in the back, just rolling them up. I'm like, man, these ladies, and the elbow grease that they put in there is no joke.
Oh my god, it's incredible. You said you were you just in Italy as well, or you were in
Julius? Julius and I was in Italy as well. It was amazing. Like Julius was out there and he was just going crazy. He loved it.
When you go to
the produce.
Oh my god, it's crazy. You go to Bologna and there's all these old nonas on the street just rolling pasta, and their arms are like this. Their arms are like tree trunks, man.
That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
Talk about biceps and forearms.
But you should do you should do an Italian lasagna, not the American
with the bechamel,
ricotta, with just the super thin with the bechamel. That will actually blow his mind.
I've been saving that one. I have to I gotta make fresh pasta sheets that day.
No, you got it. Well, you could buy good fresh pasta sheets and save yourself a shit ton of time.
There's nothing. There's nothing like. Oh, you can't say that on this podcast, man. You can't say that. I make my own pasta. I'm not a chef.
You don't see the video, but his eyes lit up. He's like, "Oh, yeah." They good?
Yeah, no, they're not good. You can't do that. No, this is it. You gotta. I'll make you pasta sheets.
It's like blasphemy.
It's like you might as well buy that hard ranzoni shit,
the one that you just bake in the oven kind of thing.
Yeah, those ones not bad either. Those ones I do for the American ones.
Says the guy that owns the Italian restaurant.
With all the ricotta. Yeah, bro, we don't do fresh pasta.
It's labor intensive.
It is
labor of love for sure, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and I don't do it like if there's more than 6 people gonna be at dinner, I won't do it. I just I can't do it. Like I do it for the 4 of us, and that's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got sidetracked. What I was going to say is that I'm the same way. Like I do my Italians on Sunday, but like I just went through a Southeast Asian. I was doing like Vietnamese pork chops. Like now that it's grilling season, I've been doing a lot of like I did some grilled Thai meatballs and some Vietnamese marinated pork chops.
Those are the
like
best. Oh.
Man, it's like I love that.
Vietnamese food is so good, bro. The spices, the fish sauces, the fresh lime juice, and the mint, and all the herbs and aromatics.
My spices are only Italian or Asian. Like any in my cupboard, everything. There's nothing else. So I feel this.
I don't know. I go through in the wintertime. I do it. I go through Indian.
You got all the warm spices, the cinnamon and the garam masala.
And it's like I do
Tom makes his own garam masala.
No, I don't. I don't do that. I live one subway stop from Jackson Heights, man. I could I get it from the spice market. I'll get it from Patel Brothers.
Yeah, though they got good spices though out there. I love Queens. I mean, you said you live in Queens or?
Yeah, we live. Well, I'm in Forest Hills. I live one subway stop from Jackson Heights, and Mikey's from Forest Hills, but lives uptown.
Forest Hills.
Yeah,
but now I'm in Hamilton Heights. I almost said what street I was on.
I gotta check it out. I love Queens. It's so diverse. I was out there eating the other day. I had some roti. Oh man, it just the amount of diversity. They said it's the most diverse borough I think in the whole United States. But when it comes to Guyanese, it's so much over there.
In Jackson Heights, the neighborhood Tom was just talking about, there's over 100 languages spoken. You can't even name 100 languages.
Exactly, it's insane.
No, I dig it. I mean, and you know what? I'm grateful for because of my kids. Like my kids walk home from school.
That's a blessing.
Oh man, and they walk home and they're like, "We're going to so and so's dad's bodega in Jamaica. We're going to stop by the lady and get the pupusas out of the shopping. She sells them out of the shopping cart.
Culture,
and,
man. That's culture.
I love it. I couldn't.
That's the beauty of New York.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right, I got a question for you then. What is your favorite grandma's food? What's your favorite food that your grandma made? I mean, I know you can't just pick one, but if you had to pick one, like what are you craving right now?
If my grandma was throwing down right now, I'll definitely. Oh man, she does these yuca, these cassava.
Oh.
She makes dumplings out of these cassava and she stuffs them either with cheese or ground beef. And cassava, when you grind it, it has like this nice texture to it. It has a bite to it, but it's called chulitos. She calls it chulitos, and it's just ground up cassava, maybe an egg to bind it, a little bit of flour, and then she'll take her hand and put some cooked ground beef in it, and she'll deep fry it, and it just makes this beautiful golden brown, delicious.
That's comfort. That's like the definition of comfort food.
Yeah,
something like from the hometown with a little like fried, and then with just like flavors that everyone likes.
And I'm big on salted cod. Her salted cod, stewed salted cod with onions and like cassava, and cooked in a tomato stewy with a little bit of white rice, avocado, and some fried plantains. I'm game.
Oh,
that's
man.
That's comfort for me. That's grandma.
I gotta say, the salted cod is something. So I just came back from Jamaica, and we had a chef that was staying with us that was just cooking he's like, what do you guys want? And we were like, just everything local. And
that's how you got to do it.
That's how you got to do it. And there was salt cod for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh yeah. It probably was a no-brainer for him. He was like, "Oh, this is good."
Man, he was loving it. Aki and salt cod, and
I gotta try that dish.
Oh man, it was so good. And then I started I'm Italian. We have a lot of salt cod around the holidays. We do bacala. We do that around the holidays. And I was like, why am I only eating this once a year, man? I need to start putting this shit on everything all the time because it was just so good. I was like, for breakfast, we're having fruit with salt cod on it, and it was so good.
Bro, it's so true. Yeah, the jackfruit, right? Oh, the aki. I mean, the aki and saltfish.
Yeah,
aki and saltfish. That's like home comfort food. That's the best thing to do when you go to another country and you just go and have the food from the locals. It's kind of sometimes they cater to to the guests or whatnot. But when you get out there, go to a hole in the wall spot, and you eat from the country, and it tells a lot.
We talked to the chef right before, and I was like, look, man, I'm like, when we got there, he made us, safe. He made us pasta with shrimp. And I was just like, you know what? All right, cool. That was delicious. But like, I don't want that, man. I want I want fish escabeche. I want like all of like the stuff that you're gonna make.
Escabeche is so delicious.
Oh my God. I can't believe I haven't had that before. That was crazy. That was so good.
It's super flavorful. It's just like the whole acid. Give me a second. This dog right here is getting me.
No, it's all right, man.
She wants the pie.
She wants the pie. She wants my undivided attention all the time.
Oh, all right. So listener, you can't. Adam brought the dog on to the podcast. I'm sorry, this is not a video podcast, but like, yeah, look at that dog.
One of my undivided attention. My baby right here. Her name is.
She can't hear us either.
She can't. She's just looking. She's like, what's going on over here? Like, I see these people in the video. Her name is Creme Brulee. Her name is Brulee for short, but I named her Creme Brulee.
I love it.
She was like, she looked like a little creme brulee when I got her. She's a Yorkie Terrier for those listening.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Everything. Yeah, I'm big on the oxtail as well over there in Jamaica. The oxtails and all that stuff.
Yep. That was my birthday dinner. He asked me what I wanted for because I was down there for my birthday, and he's like, "What do you want for your birthday? I can make you anything." I was like, "I want curry goat and oxtail."
Oh my God!
And that's
you're making me hungry.
Yeah,
man,
so
the
good.
Curry goat can never go wrong with that. The best.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, Adam. This was awesome.
I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you guys, having me.
Is there anything you want to plug? Any events, your social, if someone wants to reach out to you for an event, and this is the time, plug away.
Oh, definitely, definitely check out my Instagram at The Legend Son. And that's about it. Right now I'm just so focused with Julius and the playoffs.
He's in the playoffs too. Yeah, Adam's in the playoffs right now.
I'm in there. So it's crunch time. I might be there a couple of more, working a couple of extra hours in there, just helping him out. Plus the injury, he's recovering pretty quick. I'm excited for him to see him on the floor. I think he's gonna kill it when he gets back to the floor playing ball because he's hungry. He wants to get back already. I could tell.
You could tell that he's one of those guys who can't, he's got to do whatever he can to get better, but it's killing him when he's not out there. It's killing him not to be out there.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm excited. What's to come? Hopefully we could do this again for sure.
Absolutely, man. You're always welcome to come back. And I'm serious, man. If you ever want to take a trip out to Long Island, Julius doesn't have to come. He can come. But he can bring his family. But if you ever want to take a trip out and eat some oysters, man, I got, share some drinks, cook some meals, and eat some seafood.
That'd be amazing. We have some blue points out there.
Yeah. So on the East Coast, they're all sort of the same species. And where I raise mine are right outside of like Southold Bay. So it's like
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
To learn.
It's a great little place out there.
It's super, super cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, I got to see that. Definitely, we got to coordinate, make that happen.
Nice. In the off season. Now you got to keep Julius healthy.
Definitely.
All right, Adam.
All right, guys.
Thank man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
So that was awesome.
That was great. Thank you for setting up that interview. He was just amazing. He's so inspiring to listen to. Mikey, as our years-long tradition that we started last episode, we're going to end the podcast with what is the tastiest thing that you ate over the past week since we last recorded? What is the tastiest thing that you ate or drank? You could talk about your oysters in West Palm. You could talk about espresso martinis. So, what is the tastiest thing you put in your body?
The oysters were the number one. Number two, we went to another spot called Dr. Limon. Terrible name. Awful name for a restaurant.
Dr. Limon. Dr. Limon sounds like a plastic surgeon in Brazil. Yeah,
that's not that far off. It is a Nikkei cevicheria, so it's Japanese Peruvian food, with a focus on ceviche. And they did
nice.
This appetizer was 4 different ceviches, all the corvina, the white fish, but in a leche de tigre, in a red sauce, in a yellow sauce, in a huancaína, which is a potato cheese sauce. Like, with all the accoutrement that come with ceviche, the sweet potato, the choclo, the white corn, the salsa criolla, which is like a pickled red onion sort of vibe. Yeah, it was just like we got that. We got a tiradito, which is sort of like if sashimi was ceviche. It's like thin slices of fish with the citrus plated on top of it. So we got
Is it like a crudo in Italian?
Kind of. So this one was like thin slices of octopus, and then it was olive, a Peruvian purple olive puree on top of it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like if you saw a tiradito once, you'd be like, okay, this is a tiradito. You just have to like have a little familiarity with it. And then we both got entrees, and it was too much food, and we were like, shit, we should have just shared one entree because this ceviche appetizer was like so good. A friend recommended the restaurant to me, and I shot him a text as soon as we left, being like, you nailed this. Like, what a great place. What about you?
So last Saturday, it was pouring rain here in New York. All of my kids' sports were canceled, and we took advantage of that by going to New York Food Court in Flushing, which is an old school. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it is a staple of the Flushing like Chinese Asian food court world. I'm gonna say two things. The number one best bite that I had was from Fat Cat Flatbread, which just really, really crispy flatbreads that are folded over and stuffed with different things. And their curry beef flatbread is just a perfect little cheapo lunch. And it is just this super crispy flatbread, super fresh ingredients made right there, right, as you're waiting. $5, you walk away with something that looks like two slices of pizza folded over on top of one another.
We love a $5 lunch.
And we did not just stop there. We had, different meats and, duck and goose and all of this crazy stuff. You go into a food hall in Flushing, you're going to eat well for cheap. So I will say that in conjunction with the dinner that I made that night, which was basically just a dim sum for dinner type thing. We went to Sky Foods, which is a gigantic Asian grocer in Flushing, and bought a whole bunch of dumplings, a whole bunch of buns, chicken wings. I made 5-spice chicken wings. My son made a kimchi dipping sauce to go with the wings, which was like amazing.
He does a lot of kimchi stuff.
He loves kimchi. He loves Korean food. Like it's insane. Then I made stir-fried Taiwanese flat cabbage. It's like a springtime cabbage that is really sweet and really tender. The combination of the food court stuff and it was like a perfect day. Mike, thanks for joining me today to podcast, and thanks to the listeners. If you like the show, make sure you review it, share it, recommend it to a friend.
Follow us on social, Not a Foodie Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Follow me on social. Mikey Pomodoro is my restaurant on Instagram. Chicken Parm Poppy are all my innermost thoughts and Yankee tweets on Twitter. And also shout out to the WGA, standing up for you guys, standing with you guys. Television means so much to me. Especially in the world that we live in now, where the television is my favorite medium and the quality of TV is insane. You all deserve your fair cut.